guys, it's Kaylee and Joan. Today we are going to be batch cooking Sloppy Joes in the crock pot. Really easy recipe. I'm going to link the inspiration of a recipe of what we're using down below, although we may change a few ingredients or quantities. But if you want to follow along, that's the recipe that we took inspiration from. So we're going to batch cook 3 times this recipe. That way we can use one for tonight and then freeze the rest for future meals. We've really been liking doing freezer cooking, and just when we're already going to make a recipe, just double or triple that recipe and then freezing the rest. That way dinner's already done for a following night and we're not worried about trying to eat out because we can just pull from the freezer and it's super easy. So let's get started.
We're going to start by dicing up some veggies. We are just going to do some onions and some different colored bell peppers. Now, because we are doing a big batch of these, we are going to be using a lot of veggies. So we're going to be using one of my favorite tools in the kitchen, which is our food chopper. And it basically chops everything up into the same uniform shape and size. The only thing you have to make sure to do is to make sure that you kind of slice everything so that it has the opportunity to do that. So we're just going to slice everything semi-thinly and we will put that in the food chopper, and they should all be a great size to just cook at the same time. And we're going to do a big batch of that, as you'll see here. And I got this tool on Amazon. It's amazing. It's life-changing for batch cooking. Once we've got our veggies prepped, we are going to turn the stove on to medium with a very large skillet because, as I said again, we're cooking quite a bit. Got a ton of ground beef here to fry up, so we're going to get that going. And I got the 85-15 ground beef because it still fries up. It's got enough grease to like cook everything and doesn't stick to the pan as much, but you're going to end up draining that grease anyways. So I don't see a point in buying 80-20, but you can use whatever you want. And we're just going to add our veggies in to cook at the same time. Once that's done, we're going to use a slotted spoon or spatula to drain all that grease. Just leave it in the pan and bring all of the good stuff into the crock pot. And the rest of it is a pretty simple process. You just add all of the rest of your ingredients and then mix. We're going to do some tomato sauce, some ketchup, a little bit of mustard, some apple cider vinegar, and then Worcestershire sauce, some brown sugar to counteract all of that acidity, and just adding in the rest of our seasonings. Once that's done, we are going to set the bowl in the crock pot, get everything stirred, and yes, I do realize I am testing the limits of this crock pot. We are going to turn the crock pot on and let that cook for a few hours. I'm pretty new to batch cooking, so we are definitely beginners, and one thing I've noticed with crock pot, this is my first time doing batch cooking in the crock pot, is that you can't just triple a recipe and then expect the time to be the same because it just has so much more liquid to cook off. So what we ended up doing is at the end of our time, we noticed there was still quite a bit of liquid. So we just let the crock pot cook with the lid off, and it started evaporating the liquid and getting more to that sloppy joe consistency. We ended up with a really delicious meal. What we ended up doing is letting this cool down completely. We had some for dinner that night while it was still hot. After it cooled completely, we put them in freezer bags, laid flat, let them freeze flat so that they can stand up in the freezer. And all we have to do is reheat them in a pot whenever we're ready and slap them on some buns. Thank you guys so much for joining on this cooking journey, and we appreciate you guys watching. Subscribe down below if you're not already, and we'll see you in the next one.